Austria. Dude, I'm interested in Austria, actually. Austria, and finally, let's take... something people actually give a shit about. Saudi Arabia. Okay, let's watch Austria real quick.
Also nicht vergessen, wann's noch...
Was das nicht vergessen, der Pulver nicht so auf, Brüder, ja, ich brauche ein Käppchen. Oh, super, super, ja.
Österreich kommst, aber wann's Deutsch reden, nennt es nicht Deutsch.
Das ist nicht Deutsch, das ist die Quatschen, die ver...
It's time to learn geography.
Today in the news, they said that when that terrorist in Vienna was shooting people, there was an Austrian guy who screamed at him. What did he say? Help me, Austrians. What did he say? It wasn't the news. It's like a slogan for all of Austria now. The Austrians are very proud of that slogan. What did he say? He said something. No. Schleich dich, du Arschloch. Yeah, he's... There's a terrorist walking around shooting people, and some Austrian guy, supposedly, I don't know, it wasn't in the radio, I don't know if it's true, he said, Schleich dich, du Arschloch. It's a fucking ridiculously clown way of saying, get lost, asshole. It's like a clown saying that. It's the funniest shit ever. Schleich dich, du Arschloch.
Hey peeps, I'm your host Paul Barbato. Let's dissect the flag.
Dude, that's many years ago when he had a shit fucking mic, dude. One sec, just checking if Austria has a child now. Austria! I like Austria, man. I've been on vacation with there this year. It's beautiful, man.
Of Europe. Disputably, legend has it that the flag comes from the siege of Acre after Leopold V came back from battle and removed his belt with his blood-soaked tunic, leaving a red, white
Austrians, did you know
Keep
that?
in mind that the
Is there any
Austrian
Austrians
flag
in
looks
chat?
very similar to the flag of Latvia. However, the Latvian flag has unequal-sized bands and is a darker shade of red. Keep in mind, many other countries in the Eastern European region, specifically the Pan-Slavic areas, still retain a part or complete version of the white-red pattern on their flags, like Austria. We'll explain a little bit more about this, but first, let's talk about the borders.
Can you look Turkish flag? Not right now, you. Look, we're talking about Austria now, Turkish people. Listen, I'm not gonna take a look at your little Turkish flag right now, okay? It's right there. We're gonna show respect to the people that pushed you out of Europe, okay? Sorry.
In terms of its location, Austria is landlocked, bordered by 8 other countries, don't forget Liechtenstein, in the Central European region, with the Alps dominating 3/4 of the country in the west and in the center. The country is divided into 9 states, although it's kind of funny because the state of Lower
I couldn't... Why is there 2 Tirols? Carinthia.
Austria is technically a little higher than Upper Austria geographically. The capital and the largest city is Vienna, located on the eastern side of the country, where 1 out of every 8 Austrians can be found. The city is a wonderful assimilation of centuries-old stone
beautiful,
churches,
man.
palaces,
It wins most beautiful city lately.
As well as modern high-rises,
most beautiful city on
skyscrapers,
earth.
and
It wins that.
offices. Oh, and there's dozens of castles speckled throughout the entire country.
Never seen it though, man.
In the Albania video, I told you play that whole Find the Bunker game. Well, in Austria, it's kind of like Find the Castle game. As a member of the EU, Austria's borders are pretty open with all of its neighbors, and are pretty much virtually invisible with the exception of the occasional river or mountain.
Break is better? I'm just saying. There's this thing where they vote for most beautiful city to live in the world. On Vienna wins that, and not Prague.
It really has is in the South Tyrol region, which historically belonged to a number of different kingdoms and empires, but for a long while it belonged to the House of Habsburg, a historically fascinating lineage that would eventually play a pivotal role in providing half of Europe with all of their monarchical
especially
lineages.
genetically.
In short, it kind of initially belonged to Austria. However, after the Treaty of Saint-Germain-en-Laye in 1919, the entire southern part of this region was kind of reluctantly given to the Kingdom of Italy. This explains why Austria has a relatively narrow eastern parameter that stretches into the Alps, as the South Tyrol region, which previously gave the country a wider range of dominion, was ceded to Italy.
I was right here for vacation, and this area right here is just beauty. All the Americans in chat or wherever you come from, if you ever visit Europe, this area is mwah, in my opinion. It's mwah, 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 mwah.
Austria was kind of like, okay, Italy, we'll give you this piece of land, but, you know, just a little heads up, pretty much everybody in there is Austrian, and they speak German, and they kind of want to be part of Austria. But hey, it's all yours. The most confusing part of the region, though, would have to be the Jungholz Enclave. Located right on the border of the Bavarian region of southern Germany, this place only has about 300 people, separated into 4 small towns. This area is strange because it is one of Europe's only 3 quadrupoint borders and is technically joined by Austria by only a small narrow corridor, only a few meters wide on the top of the
belongs
adjacent...
to Austria? Well, Germans, it's type that we...
mountain that crosses over into the Austria side. Otherwise, the only way to get into
detect
Austria
Hugo,
from this
anyone?
region is by driving through Germany. This means that if you don't want to go through Germany to get into Austria from this region, the only way is to literally climb to the top of Sochstrofen mountain to the very point where the four borders meet and
So
climb all the
beautiful
way
down there, man.
down to the
Fucking
rest of
love it.
Austria. Since the 19th century, the borders have been literally marked every single step of the way, and the top has a mark stone that distinguishes the narrow crossing. Believe it or not, this is actually a common hike that a lot of people take, despite the fact that many of them don't even understand the significance of the markers. Speaking of mountains and hikes, let's talk about the physical geography.
That's up, man.
As mentioned before, about 3/4 of Austria is mountainous, with the Alps dominating the center and western parts of the country. These mountains are the characterizing segments that give Austria its distinct
That's
national
Mont Blanc,
identity,
No.
both historically and
Zugspitze?
culturally.
No.
In short, even though the vast majority of people in Austria live in the low-lying plains around the mountains, Austria would not be...
So crazy, when we drove into Austria, you're literally going shopping. Like, we were in a city called Hallein. You're literally shopping, you go out of shopping mall, and you are surrounded by mountains. Like, you're in the fucking Lord of the Rings, man. No wonder these guys are called mountain Germans.
Austria without the Alps. These mountains can actually be quite quirky, almost with minds of their own. For example, every spring in the Hochschwab Mountains and forests on the east side of the Alps, the snowmelt from the mountains completely engorges the Grüner See, or the Green Lake, engulfing the entire park with trees and benches
so
underneath
beautiful, man.
it. These mountains also provide the perfect setting
Doesn't
for
happen a
Austria's
lot
favorite
anymore because of
sport,
global
skiing.
warming. The
problem, though, is
glaciers
that
don't
although
have a
these
lot of
mountains are
snow
very
anymore in
beautiful,
winter.
They do kind of make a lot of the country uninhabitable or difficult to cultivate. Although 40% of the land is covered in forests,
Thank you, TommyKay
less than
Life
20%
Mom.
of the land is
Thanks,
arable.
Mom.
And
The
for
big boy,
record,
he doesn't text me back.
The Sound of Music was filmed in parts of Austria. No, not everybody has seen or even cared about
I actually don't know what that
movie.
movie is.
Of
What?
course, the mighty Danube River flows through the northern part of the country and has historically played a vital role in Austria's economy and trade sector, especially after
So
the
question.
construction of the Rhine-Main.
You guys, look, he is not taking the child focus. But you guys said, even though he's not taking the child focus, he still is going to have a child in 1941. Yes? That's what you said. Don't say F, you fuckers. There's an event. There will be a coup. Okay, okay.
Danube River Canal back in 1992, which allows ships to finally pass from the North Sea through Europe into the Balkans and ending into the Black Sea. The low-lying areas of eastern Austria have nice grassy hills and plains, perfect for cattle raising and, of course, dairy production, where some of the classiest Austrian cheeses are produced. Now, of course, Austria's economy is not really that heavily based on agriculture, but rather services and industry, specifically in engine and medication manufacturing. But who does all the manufacturing? Let's find out.
Everybody name one company from Austria coming to your mind. Because Red Bull? Oh, it's a Red Bull. Yeah, Red Bull. Bayer? Kinder? Huh? Red Bull. Red Bull, yeah. Red Bull is from, Steyr. I don't know what Steyr is.
Demographics.
Mr. Tommy won turkey game. I want turkey game.
You know, as the home
please.
country of Mozart,
Love
Austria
you
still
and
kind of
keep
lives
up
up
Thanks,
to its
London.
classy expectations.
Austrian
Austria has a
Airlines.
population of about 8.5 million, about 90% of whom are ethnically
is from
Austrian,
Thailand.
and 10% from other nations, mostly from Germany and the former Yugoslavian states such as Hungary, Serbia, and Bosnia, with an influx of Turkish people having immigrated over the past few decades. The reason why
Yeah,
there's
it's the
so
only way
many
they can get in
Eastern
there.
Europeans in Austria has
because you
somewhat to
can't do it
the
with war.
Austro-Hungarian Empire and the Habsburg dynasty, which was one of the most pivotal monarchies that shaped the entire course of European history in every corner, from Spain to France, England to Russia, and so on. The Habsburgs even took over Mexico for a short period of time. That's
What?
how powerful these people were. Yes, Austrians speak German, however, rule number one, do not call them
They're
German.
fucking Germans. They are. What the fuck? What's the only difference between Austrian and German is that the Austrian sounds funny.
They're kind of reluctant
They're
to even
all
tell
the
you that
same.
they speak German, and will be very quick to point out that it's Austrian German, not German
Totally
German.
the same.
The language has a very distinct vocabulary, a lot of the words influenced from Eastern European nation words, and they also have their own standard dictionary set apart from the German and
They
Swiss
are the
dictionaries.
same, and
the
you know
dialects
it.
can change drastically in Austria. Sometimes it only takes about 40 kilometers traveling inward until you reach an area that has a completely different accent. And don't even get started on those Liechtensteiners. In contrast to Germans, Austrians like to define themselves as more soft-spoken and reserved. They don't like to upset anybody, and courtesy is very highly expected in this country. Educational accomplishments and achievements are very highly prized in Austria. One thing Austrians do kind of obsess over, though, are titles. They prefer to be addressed
Someone
by
in
every
chat tried
title
to
that
say
they've obtained for
Anschluss,
themselves,
and he's like,
even if it equates to
Anschluss,
like 15 titles.
and his name is Panzer.
Dr.
He's actually
Chairman,
Austrian.
Vice CEO, Chairman Otto von Schnitzelbach-Krakengeschäftsmeier. One thing that Austrians will tell you that they really like to do is just taking simple walks, whether it's just for an hour.
I mean, it's beautiful day. You can actually go for good walks, man.
Whether it's great or whether it's raining. They even have a
Look,
word
the Austrian
for it,
flag is even a fucking
spazieren
traffic
gehen.
sign.
Don't be surprised if an Austrian invites you to just go for a walk. Go with it. They're a little
Don't
bit
do
more
it. He's gonna
conservative
take you
in
to
their
his basement.
politics, which can possibly be attributed to the growing elderly population. However, the youth have always been known to
paused the
ruffle up
game.
a few controversy feathers here and there. I mean, the winner of last year's Eurovision contest was an Austrian drag queen with a beard. They keep things a little
How did you feel being represented by this person?
bit on the down
Shout out
low.
to the
However,
Austrians.
once every so
Good job.
often, one notable figure comes and shines through.
Conchita
Like Christopher
Wurst.
Waltz and everyone's favorite bodybuilder Arnold Schwarzenegger, which, by the way,
I like Schwarzenegger. I've watched a lot of documentaries about him and read books about him, and he always said he hated Austria. He always said, I knew very fast. I had to leave Austria. It's boring here.
to some stupid rumors. No, the last name Schwarzenegger does not have a racist connotation behind it.
What does Schwarzenegger mean? German. Schwarzenegger. What would that mean? It's a village. Schwarzenegger is a village. That's why his name is Schwarzenegger. It's a German surname. That means from Schwarzenegg. Ah, from Schwarzenegg. So the village is fake news. Yes. From Schwarzenegg. Dude, I can't do the achievement. Are you kidding me? It means, in German, it means he's from the black corner. And in old medieval German, it would mean he's from the black corner. It means ist vom schwarzen Eck, but in old German, he is from Schwarzenegger.
really just means the person from Schwarzen. Schwarzen meaning black.
That is not true.
Egger meaning soil, black soil, fertile soil. It
okay,
basically
everything
just
I said
means
is wrong.
The place of the fertile soil. The family is descended from a long line of prosperous farmers, which is what the name refers to. Case closed. Speaking of relationships.
Speaking of famous Austrians, you forgot one. Just declare on allies, yeah.
In the simplest way I can put this, this is kind of what Austria's relationships kind of look like. Now shut up and dance with me! Pretty much all of Austria's best friends have some kind of a love-hate relationship with them, but love always wins in the end. It's kind of crazy too.
Everyone in chat, wherever you come from, say in one sentence what you feel about Austria. Because for me, it's aufgepudelt. Austria is beautiful, it's great, it's for rich people, but it's very rich. It's very... If you don't have a good car, you're not one of us. It's very, very... Surrender? It's very, very... I like the Austrians, but what I felt in Austria is, dude, if I don't drive a fucking BMW, these guys are not gonna respect me.
Because in the nicest, softest way I can put this, Austria did kind of start or influence both world wars.
What? You're saying the Germans... Oh, so the Austrians say, no, 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 Tommy, we're not Germans. So Austrians and Germans are not the same. Then, if we look at history, Austria has started 2 world wars. And if we are separated as they say we are, that means Germany did not start a single world war. Huh? What? Huh? 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 Can I fucking... Why is we're gonna declare the allies. Declare the allies. Declare the allies. Hugo joins, I get the achievement.
World War I with the attacks from the Empire on Serbia after the Archduke was assassinated,
Fucking
and World War
Austrians,
II because, well, I mean, Hitler was kind of born in Austria. I mean, no Austria.
Yeah, and by the definition of the Austrians, that means he's not a German.
Hitler. To this day, Austria is incredibly neutral in their affairs and lies in a very interesting alliance limbo as they have neither joined NATO or the Warsaw Pact. But enough on that. In regards to their eastern neighbors, because of the whole Austro-Hungarian Empire, Austria and many of the other Central and Balkan states like the Czech Republic, Slovakia, Serbia, Bosnia-Herzegovina, and so on, have close ties to Austria, even though historically they had lots of drama under the Habsburg dynasty. But hey, it was either the Habsburgs or the Ottomans, and they hated the Ottomans. In regards to Italy, Italy has always been a huge trade partner, but of course, like mentioned before, the whole South Tyrol region thing kind of causes a little bit of tension. They aren't going to war or anything, but Austria, in terms of their best friends, Austria would kind of reluctantly say Germany, but more specifically Bavaria, the region of South
That's true,
Germany.
they're super
Bavarians
connected,
and Austrians
man.
are very similar in their culture and tradition.
They're the
Some
fucking
Austrians
same,
will tell you
bro.
that
They're
because
literally
they
the
get
same.
along so well. Bavaria is said to be
When you chill here and then you chill here, it's exactly the same.
the 10th Bundesland, or state, of Austria, although Bavaria alone has more inhabitants than the whole of Austria. You know all that stereotypical lederhosen and dirndl costume stuff that you see on all those Oktoberfest commercials? Yeah, that's kind of what you would attribute to Bavarian and somewhat Austrian culture, but they only do that on special occasions. I mean, if it was up to me, I would wear that stuff 24/7, but hey, to each his own. In conclusion, Austria is kind of like the country that secretly changed the entire course of all of European history.
It's acting like it didn't. It's like, no, we didn't do anything wrong. What? World War I, World War II,
right under our noses without us even knowing about it. Here's one more picture of Arnold Schwarzenegger.
The Austrians are the real Illuminati. They are the real Rothschilds. There you go, chat.
And get ready because Azerbaijan is coming up next.